Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Dad at Arms channel. I'm your host, Dad at Arms. I also go by Colt, and with me today, I've got a really fun guest. This is Daniel Benedict from Red
Hi.
Serial Films and the Fall of Grayskull.
I don't know if really fun is a good way to describe me, but we can pretend.
Yeah. Welcome to the channel, Daniel. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to join me.
Man, thank you. Like I was saying before we started, like it's an honor. Like you've interviewed like all of the greats, so like for me to be able to be here is a privilege. Thank you.
Awesome. Why don't you take a brief minute and kind of tell people who you are and your relationship to Masters of the Universe, specifically with your film.
Okay. So I'm Daniel Benedict. I am a filmmaker sometimes. My relationship with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, like probably a lot of people watching this, goes back decades to our childhood, to when I first saw an episode come on TV right after a Scooby-Doo Globetrotter episode. And I was immediately entranced, and it's been uphill or downhill ever since. I don't know. But over the years, I'm for PowerCon. I'm kind of like the video guy for PowerCon. Awesome. The create a character contest for classics. Mm-hmm. Amazingly, I won that, and a Castle Grayskull man was made into a figure, and that's probably like the highlight of my life. Like as far as creative endeavors go, like that's like how cool was that. We did a He-Man fan film about 10 years ago, Fall of Grayskull. I do a lot of He-Man content on my YouTube channel. Most of it's just, as a fan. And so like I could sit here and talk about He-Man and She-Ra and stuff all day long. Awesome. So yeah, and now I guess the main reason why I'm here is we are trying to do a feature-length sequel to our fan film Fall of Grayskull 2: Rise of the Horde. And we need money and support and help and encouragement. So if anybody out there has any of that stuff, send it your way. Send it this way.
Yeah. So why don't we go ahead and talk about that? Let's talk about the Kickstarter project and what you guys are doing and what your goal is. Let's just get into it. Everything you want to talk about, and tell us what you need.
Yeah. So without like reiterating like that whole long Kickstarter video of me like talking about everything. So we did the first film. It was a short film. We raised I think it was like $12,000, and so that money was gone like that. So it was like 36-minute film. It was kind of like the climax to the story. We did like the first part of the story like in comic book form, and then we finished off in live action, but it was all green screen, and it was such a pain to like composite everything. And I feel like for what it was and the time that it was back then, I feel like it turned out well. A lot of people liked it and still like it. But there's so many things I would do differently. Like you have, like I hate to watch it now just because like I know that I could do way better. And so that's kind of a reason why I want to do a second one, just to kind of prove to myself that I could do it. But not really. There's so many people over the years have asked if I'm ever going to do a sequel, and the answer's always been no, because like that was such an endeavor. But the pandemic happened, and work was kind of slow, and I kind of got the idea. I was like, what if I did a sequel, and that following year in 21, kind of like talked to some people and was like, hey, what do you think? We're going to get the band back together. And everybody was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. So then, and my wife was like, no, not again. But yeah, so we want to do feature length. We're talking like 100 minutes to 2 hours of a He-Man film, mostly real world sets and locations, a ton more characters, with like traditional looking costumes and appearances and traditional like character traits and things. And we want this to be a lot more family friendly, a lot more fun and magical, and less. The last one was kind of like dark and gruesome at times. So yeah, I really want to bring He-Man and She-Ra and all those characters to life in live action like never before. Yeah.
Awesome. And so you're running this Kickstarter campaign for it. What is the goal for it? Is it 250?
Yeah, the goal is 250,000, which is more than most independent films get, for on crowdfunding sites. I know that, but it has to be done right. Like money for films like goes so fast, and like of that 250, like about half of it will actually go to making the movie. The other half, Kickstarter fees, credit card processing fees, taxes, creating all the rewards and packing and shipping, all that stuff. Like, you would be surprised at how much all that stuff takes. So but we came to that number. We're like, okay, we kind of roughly outlined the story and came up with like locations and sets and costumes. And we were like, okay, I think we could do it. Hey, I heard a Filmation sound somewhere.
That was mine. Nope, that was my phone. That's my phone. That's my
awesome.
text notification.
That's awesome. Yes. So we're like, okay, we could do it for this amount, and it would turn out, we can do it, and it would be high quality. It would be very cinematic, very like, what you would expect, from a super high end independent film. So that's the goal, and it's been slow. I will say that, like, we needed to make like a certain amount, like every single day. If you if you averaged it out of the whole like 45 days of the Kickstarter, so we're behind in that aspect. But I'm hopeful. We're still charging ahead, full steam, and hopefully we'll be able to do this, because like I really want to, and all of us really want to. Everybody involved, and the response on social media has been like overwhelmingly positive, and like, yes, we want this. This is awesome. And which, thank you. I was kind of worried. I was like, there's a lot of, everybody has like strong opinions on things online, especially like on entertainment and properties that you really love. But for the most part, everything has been super encouraging. So I think everybody wants it to happen. So let's do it.
Awesome. So $250,000 is the goal.
Yes.
When is the date? When the Kickstarter ends?
It ends, I think it's midnight, September the 4th. So like September the 5th, it ends. Okay. So we've got 20, I don't know how, as of recording this,
half a month, a little over half a month.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'll provide this in the show notes and stuff like that. And when I post the interview and stuff like that, I'll share all the links so people can find it and hopefully we can get this thing funded.
Yeah, Fall of Grace, but just mentioning it, fallofgrayskull.com. That's the easiest way. That'll like forward onto the Kickstarter.
Awesome. Very cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I remember when the first one came out, it was so fun to, see He-Man in live action again, and to see a story that obviously has a lot of love attached to it. It's very easy to tell you love this brand and this franchise. And I mean, like you were saying earlier, you got your own character made into a toy, which is incredible and amazing. And then he featured in the film. What came first? The for Castle Grayskull Man, was he in the film first, or was he a toy first?
Toy first.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah. When was that? The contest ended. It was like the end of 2012, I think, when he came out. Yeah, it was like November. I think 2012 is at Comic-Con is when they announced it.
Okay.
I think that's right. And then
and that was a few years later for the movie.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And PowerCon, I was able to hold like a production sample at the Mattel booth, and then it came out later that year in 2012. And then 2013 is when I kind of got the idea to make the fan film. I was at PowerCon 2013, and a friend of mine, John Faust, had made I think he was on his sequel of his He-Man fan films. And I remember buying a DVD from him and like thinking it was awesome. Like, it was like, man, like this is so cool. Like somebody made their own He-Man movie, and I loved it. And I was like, and then meeting a lot of other, meeting like some like cosplayers and stuff there, and thinking like, I want to make a He-Man movie. Like,
yeah,
like that sounds fun. So got together, started planning stuff in 13, and then in 2014 we did the spring. We did the Kickstarter for it, met the goal, and filmed it in 14, edited it in 15, premiered it at Grayskull Con in Germany in 2015, and in Hollywood at 15, and screened it a lot of places. Chicago was an awesome screening. And then beginning of 16, threw it up on YouTube, and finally, after 8.5 years, it got 1 million views.
Awesome.
Just a week or two ago.
Yeah, fairly recently.
So, I like that it has 1 million views, but I'm also like, oh man, 1 million people saw that. Oh no. Like, no. Go watch the trailer to the new one. Go, don't watch that one. But yeah.
Well, as somebody,
like the history there.
As someone who, like, I totally understand where you're coming from with something you've created and having that critical eye to it. And I look back on stuff that I've made and put out, stuff like that, and it just makes me shake my head sometimes. But as somebody who did not make The Fall of Grayskull, I've watched it multiple times, and I still like watching it because it just makes me smile, because it's He-Man. So,
well, thank you.
Coming from a fan, just thank you for putting something out into the world that reflects what you love about this property. I think there's plenty of fans out there like me who appreciate that. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, real quickly, kind of going back to Castle Grayskull Man, I think it's, he's a toy now. He was in your in the first Fall of Grayskull film, and he's even showed up in comic books now. And so, I think most recently, it was 2022, the Masterverse comics came out.
He was in
one of the issues, and I thought that was really cool. How does that feel for you as somebody who created this character, to see it kind of take off a little bit like that?
It was really cool. Like it, I kind of didn't ever expect to see that character pop up anywhere officially ever again. He did make an appearance in one of the classics mini comics, and I thought that was really cool. But I was like, like they, that they're, it's not going to happen again. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm like, what? Like that's really cool. No, it's awesome. Obviously, I wish that he were in everything.
Yeah.
but I get it. There's plenty more characters that need their time and love, before this new character gets anything. But yeah, I had to throw him in the movie though, like you mentioned, he's in the part 1 of Fall of Grayskull. I don't know if I'm going to put him in this one or not. Like maybe not. If so, just a cameo. He's not. We're sticking to the main characters here.
Yeah.
I was so like excited back then when that happened, that the character got made and stuff, and that like I was every video I put on YouTube was about Castle Grayskull Man, or anything that I filmed, he had to be in the background somewhere. And so like the bio that was written on the back of the package, I didn't write that. I did kind of like part of the information was kind of from what I had put on my entry, but I didn't officially write that. But I did take that and okay, so this is kind of like his story now. So that's why in Fall of Grayskull, Battleground Tila is Battleground Tila because of that, that era of the classics bios and stuff. So yeah, I was just really having fun with it. It's it's still the coolest thing ever. I need somebody out there to make a custom, since now that we have the Origins Turtles mashup. I need somebody to make like a custom Castle Grayshell Man figure for me, if that's possible. So
that would be awesome. We'll put the feathers out.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I like that idea. And just as a side note, that Turtles of Grayskull, what a fun crossover. Those are my 2 top fandoms is Masters of the Universe first and then Turtles second. So obviously this wall's all He-Man, that wall's all He-Man, this wall's all He-Man, and then the wall in front of me that I'm looking at is all Turtles. And I've got a lot of Turtles of Grayskull up there now. Nice. So it's fun.
But now now Thundercats.
Yeah, now Thundercats. I'm excited to see what they do with that. So there's so much to love about this property. With so the first film came out and it told the story that it told. It was a little bit darker. It, kind of dealt with Skeletor taking control of Castle Grayskull and He-Man being defeated, but eventually coming back. And it kind of focused on Tila, doing what she does best and kind of coming in to help out and to essentially save the day. With the follow-up that if it does go forward, can you give us any story details about it at this point, or you kind of keep them kind of close to the chest?
Yeah. So the script isn't written because we have Rob Lamb and his wife Sean who are going to write it. If we get funded, but we do I've had an outline for years and I've tweaked it over the years. But some character plot points, Tila, you mentioned, she's, her mom's dead, she died. She was even dead at the beginning of Fall of Grayskull because of that, because of those bios and that era of classics. That's why I went in that direction. But so she has to, in this one, the follow-up, you're going to see her taking over her role as the new sorceress of Grayskull. Sorceress is still going to be in this in flashbacks as a ghost. So she's becoming more reliant on magic and her destiny other than just guns and punching and swords and stuff. Mm-hmm. He-Man / Prince Adam, So I had He-Man kill Skeletor in the first one, which, you know, in hindsight, probably wasn't the best idea. There's so much, there's been so much like kind of complaining about that online, which I get it. I was trying to like come up with like this huge moral dilemma for He-Man to like have the stakes be like ultimate, like, you know, Skeletor is now in control of all the power of the universe. If he is left with that, he is, you know, everybody, all these innocent people on planet Eternia are going to die. Everybody that He-Man loves is going to die. His dad, you know, in the comic that we did, dies. And so if Skeletor doesn't die, everybody else dies. And so like he had to like kind of not be He-Man for a second and like make that decision, you know, I'm going to kill Skeletor, you know, against in the Filmation cartoon, He-Man says like, you know, every life, even an evil one, is worth saving. And I agree with that. But like this was like a special circumstance. And but that being said, I still kind of wish that I had maybe just, you know, had Skeletor do some kind of like deception that like ended up in killing himself on, you know, an accident, you know, like so many other stories. That way we could still keep He-Man like kind of pure. But so that being said, in this one, he's dealing with the guilt of that and like the morality of that, like, man, like, you know, should I have done that? You know, and then taking that into the battle with the Horde, like, oh no, like, how's that going to affect him fighting, you know, this army? So there's that. And then of course, She-Ra is in this, Adora, and there's no Despera. It's, you know, it's close to, you know, Secret of the Sword type of, you know, characters, or, you know, the way she is, you know, a force captain in the Horde, and she's going to have to learn about her destiny, and she's, you know, figuring out like, are we doing the right thing? You know, or is this morally right? You know, are we the good guys? Are we the baddies? So yeah, so there, you know, those are the main, you know, character plots that, you know, that we have so far. And then, you know, we've added so many other cool characters. Man-at-Arms didn't die in the comic. You never see him die in the comic. He gets like impaled by a, you know, a Scareglow, I think it was, but he survived. Awesome. And Roboto and Fisto and Battle Cat and Orko are all there. And then we have this whole like then we have the Great Rebellion characters that are going to come in, and the Horde. You've got, you know, this whole, you know, and we have we've added Count Marzo.
Awesome.
He's in there, and so it's going to be, and it's not going to be just like a sloppy mess of like, how many characters can we fit into, you know, everything makes sense. Everybody's in there you know, for a purpose, and we'll have, you know, their due time and you know, character development, etc. So
very cool. Very, very cool. And, you know, just judging off the trailer that you guys released, there's some fan favorite elements in here too. We see the sorceress, or we see Tila as she gets her green skin and takes on the aspect of the snake goddess, and that's always fun to see. I'm a big fan of green skin Tila when she gets her out. So
yes, yeah, I'm excited about that. I was we came up with that, like we had already like planned everything out, and we kind of like decided that while we were going along. Like, wouldn't it be cool? It was like, so I definitely wanted all the characters to be reminiscent of, you know, their traditional costumes. But I was like, you know what I haven't seen really at the time? I haven't seen a cosplay of Tila with the snake armor.
Right.
I hadn't seen that yet. And so I was like, let's do that. That would be awesome. So Johnny Billson made that out of like leather and metal. So it's not like foam or anything. It's like legit. While we were preparing, I think I don't know if we had filmed that yet or not. Like Rebecca McDonald did a snake armor Tila, and which was a magnificent, different one. Hers luckily was different. It had like the helmet.
It was the storybook one.
Yes,
like the Golden Book style, where it's got the head and the armor separate. Yeah.
But at first I was like, dang it, somebody beat us to it. And so, but no, it was great. And Rebecca and John are involved in this, and they are the coolest, nicest, most skilled people that I think I've ever met. So like, it is a complete honor to have them involved. But then I was like, okay. So that was part of the inspiration. I was like, what can we really do different? I was like, it makes sense. If Tila is taking over as the sorceress, like what's like a really visual difference? I was like, let's make her the green goddess. I was like, then that's never been done in entertainment at all. And then the Netflix cartoon came out, and the green goddess was like, and we had already filmed it. And I was like, somebody beat us to that again. Not that it matters. It's kind of funny, but like I wanted to present like this trailer and this Kickstarter is like, I wanted people to see it and be like wowed by it as much as possible. So like I was trying to like make it as cool and new and different and fun and entertaining as I could. And it was taking so long to make, with our jobs and, we have kids and stuff. So like, it took a good, 3 years, from when we like first started like having Zoom meetings and stuff, talking about it to like the time that it launched. So a lot happened between the initial planning phases and then like, last month when it came out. So yeah. Am I answering these questions like way too lengthy?
No, this is perfect. Say as much as you want. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, I was, the part that made me very excited as a fan, just gave me goosebumps from the trailer that you guys put out, was that kind of that final shot of the core three of He-Man, Teela, and Man-at-Arms standing in the meadow. That's it's that classic card back art from the vintage line of He-Man. And when I saw that, it just like I felt little goosebumps just start popping up all over. I was like, man, that's so cool. So I just love seeing stuff like that. And I wish that I had been able to do. There were a couple other shots that I wanted to do, like kind of like that we didn't get to do. But yeah, there's that shot, which I love. It's probably my favorite too, because I love that card art. But then there's the shot of Roboto like shooting at Shadow Weaver, and that's kind of like I tried to kind of like make it reminiscent of that poster that came with the magazine of Roboto like shooting at some Rotons. But yeah, no, I'm glad that you like it. I'm glad that a lot of people like those shots. It was a lot of fun, a lot of hard work, but fun. Good. So, well, kind of, I mean, you covered all the questions I was going to ask about Fellow Grayskull. I was going to bring up the secret of the sword and kind of the look and feel and stuff like that. So it's, it sounds like it is, kind of partially inspired by that classic storyline that we see in Secret of the Sword of Adora, stepping into her destiny. But yeah, I just, love seeing the classic costumes on these characters and seeing them as we remember them. And it's fun. It really hits that, I guess, that nostalgia nerve for all of us older fans, and just you can just tell that there's love behind it, and that goes a long way. And that's very
love or unhealthy obsession. I don't know, or a mix of the two, maybe. But
that's right. But a good middle ground somewhere in there.
Yeah. But I'm happy to hear you say all that, though. That's I love things that touch that nostalgia nerve. Yeah.
And that was one thing from the first film that you did that really stood out to me. I remember watching it and how it ends with, that scene of He-Man carrying Teela off into the sunset. I mean, pulled right from the problem with power episode.
Yeah.
Which as a kid, like, that was one of my favorite parts. Full disclosure, one of my favorite things about Masters of the Universe is that relationship between He-Man and Teela. My wife and I, we've been married for like 18 years now, and when we got married, we had vintage He-Man and Teela figures on our wedding cake, and so that's always been one of my favorite aspects of it, in addition to lots of other things that I love about He-Man. But I always like seeing that when it's highlighted, so that was fun. That was very fun. So let's kind of have a little bit more fun now that we've talked about the film, and again, it's
you mean that wasn't fun for you?
That was all fun. That was tons of fun. Now we're going to have even more fun.
Okay,
we're going to take it up to 11 now.
Right.
But yeah,
we're the bonus round now.
That's right. So, who with Master of the Universe, who's your favorite character or characters?
Like growing up, I mean, He-Man obviously was my favorite character, favorite toy, favorite character on the show. But besides that, I always liked the later characters in the 80s, like the Blast Attack, and the really weird ones like Squeeze, and just the crazy ones. So yeah, I guess He-Man. That's such a bland answer, huh?
Yeah, that's okay. He's in my top 3.
Okay, so yeah, I would have to go with that. Yeah,
awesome. And as far as toys go, and it could be like vehicles or play sets or anything like that. For me, my favorite figure was Cobra Khan. And that's because I have 3 older sisters. We grew up on a farm. And so they played this game that they called Boxcar Children, based on the old storybooks, the Boxcar Children books, where they'd go out and we were orphans. Basically, they'd pretend that we were all orphans. And I'd go play with them, and they'd always pack me a lunch because I was much younger than they were. And my oldest sister would take my Cobra Khan action figure and fill his water cavity with red Kool-Aid. And so I just walk around spraying the red Kool-Aid in my mouth using the Cobra Khan toy. So that was always my favorite toy, just because of that memory. And I just remember always having it. And
he was your canteen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my favorite action figure. My favorite vehicle was the Battle Ram and Sky Sled combo. That one was always just super unique looking to me and fun to play with. So
I really liked Cyclone, the way he looked. Just, he kind of looked like a blue He-Man, but not Faker, but like in Roboto, those guys. I always kind of liked maybe the mechanical people, or like Mechanic and Manny Faces and Roboto, need to have their own team.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Love it.
But yeah, a vehicle, I really, one that I guess was, that I played with the most was probably the Land Shark. Yeah, I like that one.
Fantastic. They're all good. That's the thing about Master Universe. Every toy is fun to play with. And I think
absolutely.
I would second guess myself going through which my favorite toy is, because I'd always be coming up with something new.
They're like children. How can you pick your favorite?
Yeah, that's right. There are no favorites. We love them all equally. So as far as over the years, we've had multiple incarnations of Master Universe, be it through cartoons or comic books, and even the 87 live action movie. So what is your favorite incarnation of Masters of the Universe?
I mean, it would have to be Filmation, just because it was the first, it was the introduction to me to the world of He-Man, and like I just love the morality of it all. And like as a kid, like I used that show as like a compass of like, what should I do? You know, like what would the good guys do in this show? Like in this situation in my life, you know, I want to be like them. And so that's kind of, and the creative ways they solved problems and how like they cared for each other. It's just like stuff that like, you want in real life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you could watch, like I love to watch entertainment of like things that like are not like my real life. Like I like fantasy. I like, you know, adventure, space stuff, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy type stuff that like couldn't really happen in real life. And not that like morality and like caring can't happen, but like, you know, like you don't want, like I don't like watching shows that like is full of like cynicism and like just arguing and like people being mean all the time for no reason. Like that's, you know, like I could live that every day if I wanted to, you know, you just go to Walmart or something. But yeah, no, so Filmation's my favorite. I love the 87 movie so much. Just as an 80s movie, you know, it's just so fun. I was kind of didn't love it as a kid just because I was like, that's not He-Man.
Right.
You know?
Right. I remember it scared me as a kid. I was scared of Beastman, and Karg scared me for some reason. I think I was just, but I got scared by Judge Doom and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I remember leaving the theater in tears.
I mean,
it was terrifying.
You're listing some terrifying characters. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, they're all the incarnations, you know, have good and bad parts about them. But yeah, but Filmation is always going to be number one.
Awesome. Yeah, there's something about it. It's just a wholesome show, you know, like you said, and I think I agree with you. Like, if I want a bad ending, I am a horror fan, and so, you know, I'll play a scary video game or watch a scary movie and stuff like that because they typically don't have happy endings. But that's about the limit for me. Everything else, I like to see. I like the wholesomeness of it, and as I grow older and as I'm a dad now, I think I've gotten softer and softer as the years go by. So it's always fun to reconnect every year or so when I go through the old cartoon and watch it and just have those good moments again.
Yeah. Having little kids like definitely changes you, and like it has changed me. Like I don't want to make stuff now that I don't want them to watch. You know what I mean? Like I want to make things that like they would enjoy and that they would get like some fulfillment out of. You know, like me watching Filmation as a kid. Like I want to make a Fall of Grayskull that they could watch and like they feel good and excited and yeah.
One of the and I think that's why, you know, we've had these new versions of He-Man come out, and, you know, like we were kind of talking a bit earlier, the internet does what the internet does best or worst, and we see a lot of negativity when new things come out. And I remember just sitting down when the Netflix series, when Revelation finally was available, and I just remember sitting down with my kids and watching it. And just having this moment where I was just like, you know, I'm watching He-Man with my kids, and it's new, and it's, you know, it felt special. And it was really neat to see at the time, my youngest son, you know, he had some struggles with self-confidence and things like that, and kind of finding out who he was and finding himself. And he really connected with Orko in the new Netflix series, you know. And it was such a great moment, you know. I got to, through this channel that I do, you know, I got to interview Griffin Newman, the voice actor for Orko, and he took a moment, off camera to chat with my son, and they just had a nice little conversation together about it. And it's just one of the, it just is one of those reminders to me that this is something special. This is a special brand. It's allowed me to connect with my children and teach them good values and see them become better people because of it in some small way. And that's how I felt as a kid watching He-Man, so
That's awesome.
It's a great brand. It's a fun brand. And so, as I said earlier, just thank you for putting something out to the world that celebrates that.
Well, I promise this new one will be more of that, leaning way more toward that. But yeah, I agree. He-Man is special. Like it's different. It's not like anything else. And it's hard maybe for an outsider to like know that. But yeah, it's definitely like, it's like everything. It's like, I used to describe it like Superman meets like Lord of the Rings, meets like Conan the Barbarian, meets like Star Wars. It's like, and the Marvel movies have done a good job of like, exploring different facets of like the fantasy genre, but like not like He-Man.
It just feels special, and it's hard to describe, but yeah, like you said, it's hard to describe it to outsiders. But you just know it, how it makes you feel. And I think that is special. That's a testament to what it is. So
agreed.
Well, I don't think I have any more questions for you. I think we covered everything I wanted to cover. Are there any final thoughts that you want to express regarding the Fall of Grayskull, Rise of the Horde?
Just that, like, just a thank you to like the huge long list of people that helped put it together. Just whether it's like letting us ride your horse, or letting us film in your alley, or building this prop or this costume, or or makeup, or or creating a fully animated CG character. It's so many people have put so much of themselves, their time, into this project, to that trailer. And so just thank you to all of those people. And thank you to everybody online on social media that's watched it, that's like reached out and said, hey, how can I help? Or just a nice comment on something, or sharing it, or donating. Thank you to everybody that I've, that's done anything that I've just listed. It means everything, because we love this property. We love He-Man and She-Ra, and we want to make this thing a reality. And not just for us, but for everybody, to have those, to bring out those feelings that that you were just talking about. We really want this to exist in the best way possible. And so thank you to all those people. And please, 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 if you have $1 to donate, that would bring us that much closer to the goal. There's so many cool rewards that we have on there. And if you can't donate, then please share everything that, follow us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere, and just like keep sharing this stuff and like, tagging people in it, people that you think, might be interested in it. We'll have, we can have, people like send you like flyers to hang up at your comic shop, or, anything just thank you. And we need your help. Awesome. Bad. So, yeah.
Very cool. And so, yeah, so go to followgrayskull.com. That'll take you to the Kickstarter page. What is the name on, who should they follow on Facebook? Is it just follow Grayskull on Facebook?
There is a Fall of Grayskull Facebook page. That's kind of like the hub there, but we also have Red Serial Films on Facebook and Instagram. And then you could follow me on Instagram or on Facebook. And I have a TikTok that that I have like maybe like one follower. I don't know, but I do post like the reels and stuff on there.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Cool.
And YouTube. YouTube is I have a YouTube channel. It's Fresh Danny B with 3 N's. Fresh Danny B.
Love it.
And every video gets posted on there. So yeah.
And all of those links I'll provide all of those in the show notes. So for those of you watching, if you want to follow, just expand the info and click on through and subscribe to each of those. And it definitely goes a long way. And yeah, please donate, please, like and share, and just let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So we can do this. It'll be fun. Thank you for meeting with me, Daniel. This has been a real pleasure. It's wonderful to meet you.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful to meet you and to hear everything, all your stories and your heart and stuff, and seeing all the cool stuff behind you. That's cool too. So
thank you.
So thank you.
Awesome. All right, everybody. So that does it for us. Please like, share, and subscribe this, or like and share this interview, and subscribe to the channel for more content. And until next time, good journey.
Good journey.